feeling lost and confused in life, when you're going through a giant transformation phase, recalibration, that can feel a little disconcerting when you're not sure what the next chapters are going to look like. And I had a session with her earlier, and she was experiencing something similar of, I'm ready to pull away from what I have been doing, but not quite sure what directions to move forward in. And I was explaining to her that in my energy healing business, there have been a lot of different chapters, and those have been representative of what I have experienced in life as well. So, for example, when I first started my business, I was helping people learn what it means to be an empowered empath, how to work through anxiety and depression and social anxiety, body dysmorphia issues. Those are all things that I was experiencing at that time, which is also a representator of you don't have to wait to be healed in order to help others. Because in helping support other people, I healed myself. Because there's a mirror back effect. I was listening to all of my tools and resources, and it was keeping me very accountable and motivated. Then I switched into helping people with trauma healing, specific wounds, imposter syndrome, people pleasing, masking, fear of being seen, fear of success. Then I started getting into inner child healing, because that is where the root of most of these things are coming from. Behavioral patterns, triggers, attachment styles. Then I started getting into helping people with their spiritual gifts and their soul mission. Why did you come here to Earth? What's your legacy? Helping them achieve their goals, okay, whether they're human goals or multidimensional goals. Now I'm kind of getting in the more space of mentoring, and I don't even say kind of, that's what I do now, but I mentor other energy healers and practitioners to help them elevate their abilities and their tools and resources that they have for their communities. Now, there was some internalized pressure on myself of, I don't see as much tangibility in helping people with multidimensional things as human things that they have gone through and experienced. And that was a rhetoric and a narrative that was holding for a very long time. And it's so beneficial to help people with healing their trauma and all of these things over here. Okay, but what is also beneficial is helping people remember their magical, mystical, whimsical selves. Are you a fairy or a dragon or an elf or a tree being, a mermaid, and helping them connect to these different dimensional planes and become channelers of them, or impart knowledge and wisdom, help download in new technology and understandings from different planetary systems. It is world building is what we're talking about here. I was explaining to this person I was talking to earlier of when I really looked at where I wanted to head in life is where magic is apparent. We are all able to experience it within ourselves and externally as well. There's so much that we can get caught up in the 3D paradigm with fear and scarcity and programming and all these different things. You get sucked up into it, and it starts reverberating out into your reality, and it becomes this visceral, real experience. Part of that with being an energy healer practitioner is oftentimes we will be absorbing other people's limitations or beliefs or ideologies. Even though we're helping them work through those limitations, there's still seepages in our auric fields. And it takes a lot of work to keep our channels clear and staying sovereign in our own truths, beliefs, and values. And so when I said, I'm going to start becoming a leader of this very specific paradigm and world that I want to be living in, and helping people make the quantum jump over there into, hey, you have these templates within you of being a wizard and a sorceress, a mage, a priestess, a shaman, a wizard, whatever you want to call it. You have these capabilities within you that are exponentially beneficial to you and other persons. But we have been taught that they're not real. Imagination doesn't matter. We have been so far removed from being the creators of our existences. Well, those existences can be whatever you want them to be. If you want them to be reminiscent of fantasy and adventure and going on quests and just making this whole like Dungeons and Dragons type of experience, that is what you will have. When I made a commitment to that's what I want my reality to look like, the universal algorithm started enveloping me in that, and I started experiencing it. I started pulling in completely different clients and having completely different conversations with people in my 3D experience. Mystical things just randomly happening that I wasn't experiencing at the level that I am now, but that's because I made a conscientious decision within myself of, I don't care what is going on outside of me. This is my truth. And I know it is for a lot of other people too, so I'm going to collect all of them together and we're going to move into this parallel world over here where we get to experience this heightened level of magic and insight and downloads and synchronicities and unlocking these templates within us and then finding more people. It's kind of like what Bashar talks about with all of these different parallel worlds that you can be living in. That's why this person over here and this person over here can be having completely different experiences to one another, but very similar backgrounds or trauma wounds or whatever they have been through. It's all about the perspectives in which you are looking through, okay, what you're getting fed back to you in your personal algorithm. You get to decide the routes that your life takes. That is within your personal power. Oftentimes that is us looking at what we're doing and being okay with letting go of old chapters. She had been feeling really stuck in her life, and there was no really good explanation as to why. She was doing the same exact things that she has been doing, and now all of a sudden we have come to this abrupt halt. That's because you're ready to step into this new level identity of yourself. But we have to be okay with letting go of logic and being so analytical and tangible. A beautiful example of this is in the past, I would have hosted workshops and masterclasses where I was helping people with their inner children releasing trauma, which that's beautiful. Okay, I love doing that work, but it would have been through the lens of, let's look at all of the wounds that you're currently experiencing and dissect them, and is real nitty gritty. And I was telling her that now I'm hosting workshops that are very exploratory and imaginative, and I'm taking people on these really fun adventures and showcasing to inner children that magical and mystical work is safe and fun and so important and beneficial, and just really helping them elevate in this more positive lens while still having as much impact, if not more, than the old ways that I was doing. But I had to be okay with going through this grieving process and this identity that I had attached myself to of like, no, this is the way that we have to do that. We could add some more magical flavors and sprinkle in our fairy dust and these more whimsical facets of ourselves, because there's so many people that are pining for that. When you are that type of person, it feels very isolating and lonely sometimes, because you're like, oh, it's just me, and maybe I'm just making all this stuff up in my head. When you meet other persons that are of the same type of understandings and want to be in this type of reality, it really does empower you and shows you like, this is real and it's important and it can really be life-changing. And so all this to say, it is okay to embrace the uniqueness of yourself. If you are wanting to be a wizard, sorceress, priestess, shaman, whatever, okay, archetype that you adhere to or feel in resonance with your soul, that's beautiful. I love that. There are so many of us needed out here because we have a very unique and special medicine to offer other people.